Hi everyone, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra. And today I wanted to introduce you to Jackie Routhier. And Jackie is here to talk to us because she recently participated in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, which we're going to get into all of that and what that is and what contests are. But let's start off with the Big Bang. Jackie, how much did you win and how did you do?
I did very well for my very first try. I finished in 34th place and I brought home 23,400, which blows my mind.
That's insane. And so you just told me this was your first Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge.
My very first. I qualified on my very first try and I think I finished very well.
And would you consider yourself one of these like expert professional handicappers?
Not at all.
And this
I'm
is really
very
why I
green.
wanted to introduce you to everybody because my channel is all about beginners. And so this really shows like you could be like me, you could be like you could be like somebody who's never even played the horses before.
Exactly.
And you can enter these big contests and do
Yes.
really, really well.
Yes.
Really well. So Jackie, let's talk a little bit about like horse racing contests because they're different than just going to the track and playing the
Oh,
horse.
absolutely.
How are they different?
Well, when you go to the track, most people are just playing a win bet, a place bet, very little amount of money, especially if you're brand new. In these contests, you're out to beat everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're playing win bets, there's a little bit of strategy to it to try to get to the top finishing.
Yeah, you're trying to jump over people. So you're not just gonna play the favorites because
right.
play a favorite. Yeah.
Exactly. I never play favorites. I'm known for playing long shots.
I love that. That's what I do too. Some people look at my bets and they're like, what? You're picking that order? So for Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, this is a live bankroll contest.
Yes,
so
it is.
It is kind of like going to the track where you're making bets with your own money and you get to keep that money. But there's also like this pool at the end involved. How big is that?
Right. I believe the winner got 350,000.
Wow. Wow. That's
insane.
Insane.
They paid the top 20 finishers.
Yeah.
And everybody else just keeps whatever they had left from their bets.
It is a lot to get into this contest, right? So it's $10,000. You 2,500 goes into the pool, and then you're betting 7,500.
Right.
7,500 of your own money you're betting.
Well, you won that money, but yes.
Have you ever bet that much money before in like
no.
2 days?
I was terrified. I do $2, $5. Yeah. I had to bet $600 a race. Oh That's a lot for me.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So some of these contests don't have this big pool at the end. They do have the prize of you get into these big contests. And that's how you got into this. So tell me about that. Tell me about a feeder contest.
The feeders are actually really inexpensive. Most of them are either $18 to $20, and they, depending on how many people get into it, is how many people move on to the next round.
Okay.
And I had a feeder that I won, so I got to go to the next round to play for a seat at the Breeders' Cup.
Wow.
So my $20 investment won me a $10,000 seat.
When you say it won you a $10,000 seat, are they paying the entire $10,000 for you to go into BCBC?
Yes.
Wow.
If you
okay,
win,
so I didn't realize that. I thought they were like doing the 2,500 fee and then you're betting your 7,500. Oh my God. So they're giving you that money.
$10,000 fee, and then they take the 2,500 to put into the prize pool. And then you have to bet the 75.
Okay, so take me back to the day you won the feeder. Do you remember what horse it was that you won on?
I do not, but my phone was ringing off the hook.
Who's the first person you talked to?
Well, I had two. I'm dating Lee Davis, who was on the show Horse Players. Yeah. He's a professional handicapper. And then one of my very good friends, who was also on Horse Players, is the Brooklyn Cowboy, Kevin Cox.
Okay.
So they both knew my picks because I send it to them so they can follow and root for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And Lee, as soon as he saw my picks, he goes, "You got a shot at this."
That's
And then
awesome.
it kept going and going. And I was in the lead, which was amazing to begin with. And then I stayed in the lead. And it came down to the very last race. And I beat the person that was ahead of me by 60 cents to
Wow.
get the one seat that they had.
Wow. Now, was this a pick and pray where you have to pick them all up
Yes.
at the begin? Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
do I do much better with the pick and pray than the lives.
So, for anybody who doesn't know the contest, pick and pray, you're not playing as the races are progressing. You pick all of your horses even before the scratches, right? And then you have to determine
Right.
other
You get one
horses.
alternate. So
Yeah.
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 The one alternate you have, so in case there is a scratch, you
Right.
still have a live horse.
Yeah, yeah, but still, those contests are so much harder than you play as you go because you have to figure out that strategy all up front versus being
Right.
the ebb and flow with how the day is progressing. So that's crazy.
Right.
You win yourself into BCBC. Let's talk a little bit. It's a 2-day event.
Yes.
Breeders' Cup this year was at Del Mar. Have you ever been
Mhm.
to Del Mar before?
Yes, I went the last time it was in Del Mar, so that was 4 years ago.
What's the vibe of the Del Mar track? I know every track's got a slightly different vibe. How would you describe Del Mar?
It's a lot of celebrities walking around. It's known to be where the turf meets the surf
Yeah.
because La Jolla Beach is right there. So it's very inviting. It's a lot of fun.
Did you meet any celebrities along the way?
I did. Richie Sambora, Elizabeth Banks,
Oh, wow.
Carson Kressley,
Yeah.
Bo Derek. She's the loveliest woman I've ever met.
She is a big time lover of horse racing because
Yes,
I
she is.
invested in a horse with my race horse that had an affiliation to Bo Derek. And I
Mhm.
was surprised. And so I researched that. And yeah, so she's a big time fan of horse
Yes, she
racing.
is.
Did you get there Thursday, early in the week?
We got there Thursday. They had a welcome party, and it was a costume party.
Oh, fun.
So Lee and I dressed as Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, that's awesome. So Thursday night, you were little relaxed. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
all work and research. You were out
No,
having fun. Yeah.
I did most of my research on the plane. We had a 6-hour flight. So I was pretty well prepared. Had a couple tweaks for scratches for Friday, but we
Now,
did well.
some people come into these contests with a team of people. Was it just you? Were you figuring out your strategies?
Yes, like I said, I am dating a professional handicapper. My very good friend is a professional handicapper, but they both said, "You do what you do
Yeah.
to get into this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't try to start learning how to really deep dive into handicapping. Do what you've been doing. That's what got you here."
It got you there. So why not like stick with
Right.
that? Did you have any specific strategies that work for you that you wanted to make sure you did during those 2 days?
The goal was to bring home at least 5,000.
Okay.
So you are required on the first day to bet 3 of the 5 Breeders' Cup races.
Okay.
And it's $600 a race. The second day, you have to bet 7 of the 9 Breeders' Cup races. So the first day, I stuck with win bets.
Take me on your journey on Friday. You get there Friday morning. How are you feeling?
Very nervous because this is all brand new to me.
And Friday's difficult. Friday is called Future Stars Friday for a reason. It's
Right.
2-year-olds. These are difficult races to handicap. Usually big long shots come in.
Which is good for me because that's usually what I pick as a long shot.
So your very first race on Friday, how'd you do?
Yes.
Was it a race you won or was it
Yes.
a race that you lost? Oh, so you won it.
No, I
That's
won.
great.
Yeah.
Did winning give you that level of energy, like to carry you forward on Friday?
I just hoped that it would continue. It's not likely that you're going to hit every race.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I hit the first one. Let's try for the next one.
Yeah,
So
and-
by the end of Friday, I was in 106th place out of 585 people.
But that's
which I
That's
think is great.
great.
Yeah.
That people don't realize too, it's so easy to jump in these contests. And if you look,
Mhm.
they will publish the bets of everybody who
Yeah.
participated in BCBC. And sometimes I
Mhm.
go out there and I'm like, how did they do it? How did they win like $300,000,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you look, and they may have only won two races, but they
Yeah.
strategically bet enough
Right.
to jump. So yeah, so being 100th is amazing, especially on the card that existed on
Mhm.
Friday. What was your best bet on Friday?
I just did the win bets. Friday was just making sure that I stayed within my money
Yeah,
to have enough for
for
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
And the mission got accomplished.
I do see where people just hit zero on Friday.
Yeah,
And so
some
you're
will
you're
go
right.
all in on the first race and do the whole 7,500 and then they're done.
You go into Friday night again. Are you going back to the hotel and just studying, or did you go out and celebrate and have some fun?
I relaxed a lot, trying to mentally prepare myself for the next day because it's the big day.
Right. And so Saturday rolls around. Did you get any advice from anybody coming into Saturday morning that helped you?
No, they wanted me to do it all on my own. So they were all rooting for me, but nobody really wanted to give me any advice because if their advice didn't end the
Mhm.
way that they wanted to, then they'd feel awful. So
Yeah.
they said, just you're on your own. We're here for you, but you're on your own.
Do you typically do your handicapping via a form like pen and paper? Are you on the computer? Kind walk me through like what that
Um,
looks like.
I like to look at the daily racing form, but I'm not good with numbers.
Okay.
So a lot of the stats that are there, I don't really understand what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
I usually stick to jockeys and trainers.
Yeah.
I'm better with the New York circuit because that's what I'm familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes time to when I'm in tournaments that have like the California tracks, I do have to do a little bit of research. I usually look who the top 10 jockeys and the top 10 trainers are
Yeah.
because I'm not familiar with the horses there. I know a little bit about the jockeys, but I'm East Coast.
Yeah.
So New York circuit, I'm much better with.
I find that hard too, especially when Breeders' Cup is out west. I
Yes.
struggle. I struggle with the jockeys out west, the trainers
Hmm.
out west. But
Right.
Breeders' Cup is a whole other level because you've got Europeans, you've
Yes.
got the Japanese horses.
Yeah.
How did you research those horses?
I incorporated the Japanese into my bets because they typically do well,
Mm-hmm.
but I really didn't know anything about them. I'm Irish. My maiden name was Kelly, so I tend to see if a horse is from Ireland on the
Yeah.
grass. I tend to play them
Yeah.
if I'm not familiar with them because you figure they do well because that's where they run. They all run on
Right.
the grass out there.
Yeah. I do a lot with sires too. Do you look at
Mhm.
sires at all?
A little bit, but mine is more jockeys, trainers, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
a big names player.
Yeah.
If I see something that really jumps out on the page, I have to play it.
Okay, so am I. I'm a very much numbers person, stats person, because that's my background. That's really why I
Yeah,
love horse racing, because I love to get in the numbers. But honestly, if that name jumps out,
yeah,
there was a Mora on
yeah.
Saturday. Now, not
I
spelled
bet
my
it.
name my way, but there was Mora. And I was like, of course I'm going to play Mora.
Yes,
And she
yes,
won.
yes.
Turf versus dirt. Do you have a specialty? Do you like one versus the other?
Not really. I just look
Mhm.
to see. It's more about the horse than what surface they're on.
Now, were you sticking to just win bets on Saturday, or were you doing other types of bets as well?
During the whole contest, I stuck with win bets until I got to the 10th race.
Okay.
Figured that's the time to make your move. So I started with daily doubles,
Okay.
which turned out to be very profitable for me.
And for those who don't know what a double is, you're picking the winners of two races back to back.
Yeah, yes, the 10th and the 11th race.
What was your best bet of the day?
It ended up being the daily double, and I had straight no chaser in the 10th race who won. And then it came down to the 11th race, and it was More Than Looks.
Yeah.
And
The
that
Cherie
horse
DeVoe
looked
horse.
amazing on the track.
Yeah.
Up on his toes, his ears were pricked up. He looked ready to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lee looked at me. He goes, I really think you have a shot at this one. I want to say I was around 100, 106 at that time. And during that race, the horse was last coming into the stretch and won. Jose Ortiz made an amazing move. Cherie DeVoe is an awesome trainer. I was happy for the both of them, but I was happy for me because I got $17,000 for that double.
Oh my gosh. How much did you bet to win the 17,000?
It was a $200 double.
That is amazing. And what made you pick straight no chaser? That was a difficult race, by the way, to pick.
It
So what
was.
made you pick straight no chaser?
I did actually, in that race, I did several doubles,
Okay.
but that was one of the names that just kind of popped out on the page. And I said, well, we got to incorporate that in. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So for everybody who thinks horse racing is so complex, and yes, it does. You pick up one of those forms and it looks so complex. It's not, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not. Did you play the very last race or were you done after that double?
At that point, I was in 20th place. So it was everybody else's job to come get me. And they did. I ended up in 34th, but I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Still, I mean, 34th is incredible for your first BCBC. You're not surrounded by this team of people who are experts in turf, experts in the Europeans telling you what to bet. You're out there just doing it, and that's incredible.
And then out of the women who were in the BCBC, I finished second.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how many women were actually in it, but I was the second highest grossing winner.
That's great. So what do? You win all this money. You're on cloud nine. What's the next thing you did?
I was in a daze. I really was. I cried a little bit because that was a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And I came home and bought a brand new car.
That's unbelievable. I think I saw you went to Vegas first. Did you go to Vegas?
We had a layover in Vegas, and actually I put $20 in and Lee put $20 in and we cashed out at 170. So we were still winning.
I want to go back to more like your background with horses.
Okay.
When did you start playing the horses? Like what brought you in to being a horse player?
I started out, my family would go to the Northampton Fairgrounds, which actually is right across the street from me right now. In the fall, they would have a few weeks of horse racing.
Yeah.
So that's where I got into it, where I learned about it. Zippy Chippy ran there, who was one of my favorite horses. Yeah. He's the lovable loser. 100 starts, he never won a race.
Oh, no.
But I saw him here. I just loved racing.
He brought you in.
And then I learned about Saratoga.
Okay.
And I started going up to Saratoga in the year 2000. And that track is just, it takes you back.
Yeah.
It's so historic, and the people, the atmosphere, it's just my favorite track.
And that's where you and I met, was at Saratoga. So that's how I know you.
Yeah.
And when they say horses bring people together, they really bring people together. Because we would never had just met. We're in two different states, and
Right. Yeah. Some of my closest friends from horse racing, and some of them are like family now.
What I love about horse racing is even though you're making bets and you're cheering on your horses because you want to win, you're always happy for the person next to you that's winning too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. It's a community and everybody has fun together.
There will be some days that I'll go there and I won't even be betting. A couple of times, well, actually more than a couple during the summer, I was taking pictures for one of the trainers in the paddock of all his horses, Jimmy Ferraro. He's a local New York trainer. Other times I'd just be hanging out with my new friends, and it's fun to people watch. Where we sit, we're right in the middle of everything. So
Hmm.
we see the horses when they come in. We see the jockeys when they come out. My favorite is watching Katie Davis with all of the children.
Love Katie
She's a
Davis.
rock star,
She is.
absolute rock star. She will say hello to every single child that comes up
Hmm.
to her. All of the Davises, Dylan and Jackie and
And
Katie.
Jackie, yeah. If for those of you who don't know, if you take your kids, especially to Saratoga where the jockeys are accessible because they're just
Yes.
coming out and walking to go to the jockey's room, you can ask them for their goggles.
Oh
And
yeah.
they'll give the goggles to the kids. It's
Oh
great.
yeah.
They're so accessible.
And they had pins this summer with the jockeys' pictures, and they were signing all their pins. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was really neat.
So is Saratoga your favorite track?
It is. It's funny. I've never been to the workouts at Saratoga, which is crazy because I'm there every weekend. Other than Saratoga, Santa Anita
Mhm.
and Clocker Square to the workouts in the morning, nothing like it.
Yeah.
The sunrise, you are so up close with the horses. You can feel their every movement. You can hear them breathing. And
Hmm.
depending on if they're just walking or trotting or doing a quick sprint, you can just hear everything. It's mesmerizing. You don't hear the crowds, all you hear
Mm-mm.
is the
The
horses.
horses.
And they're such athletes,
Yeah.
and they try their hardest even when they're just doing the workouts in the morning.
Oh, yeah. They are the most incredible animals, which has drawn me in so much to this sport because
Yeah.
they have just this mystical quality about them and this
Yeah.
level of competition and these personalities. Everybody's got a different
Oh, yeah.
personality.
They're very smart.
They're very smart. Yep.
They know they're there to do a job. They
Hmm.
know what their job is,
Right.
and they want to win it as much as you want them to win
Oh,
it.
they do. If you were going to give a piece of advice to someone who's never been in the sport before, never played
Mm-hmm.
a race, never went into a contest, what is your
Mm-hmm.
advice?
You really don't have to know what you're doing. You just look at the names, start there. You see a horse that you like, or you like a certain number or a color, and just put a win bet on it, or
Yeah.
try to get a place ticket or a show ticket. Just place a small bet, and then it hooks you.
And then it hooks you. Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
Are you doing any more contests?
I am. I actually did a feeder yesterday where the top four finishers got a $165 entry today. I finished third yesterday. So today I'm in a contest trying to win a seat for the NHC, which is the big national horse racing handicapping tournament in Vegas in
Wow.
March.
Well,
So that's what I'm doing today after we get off our interview.
that's great. Well, I wish you all the luck, Jackie. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
spending time with me and talking to all of us about your experience. It was incredible.